All right. Well, Robert asked me to get on this call and make an effort to get off the field early today, which I did. There was a lot of questions people had from the last Saturday's training on the CDLP training, because I was sharing some information that was probably very new to a lot of people. I wanted to go more in depth in it also too, and even share some new materials. So I've been in LegalShield. This is my 13th year. First half of that was part-time while I was working a commercial truck tire business. So that was my connection to truckers, was in the tire business, because I would sell them, tires. I was like a broker. I would sell them tires. I didn't install them. I just delivered the tires to them and had all the connections. My largest sale was a $300 sale to one of my customers. So that's why I said I had my own business. I would earn a $300,000 ring just in one sale, but it was a good business to be in. But tire business is a lot like the network marketing business, because the customers keep coming back if we take care of them. So I've learned how to take care of customers because I needed to depend on that business. So that's what I bring to LegalShield. I know how to, service the customers and retain them. Some of the people that I would work with, they would say, when I say, let's go back and see this customer, and they say, well, hell no, we don't want to go back and see them. They want to know how to cancel. I said, no, we want to get a referrals. We want to get, we want to solve their problems if they have any problems. We want to take care of them. We want to build our business, and that's how you build a business, is by providing good service. So I hope I can share some of that and some tools we can use against our competition out there, which is pretty sharp. So is Robert coming back on pretty soon, or is he still talking to Sharanda?
Sharanda's in already.
All right, good. Okay.
Robert, just give her controls.
Yeah, let me get her in here and get her set up here. Sorry, guys, for the a little technical difficulty here we got going on. See. I'm looking. There she go. All right. So real quickly, guys, I'm Robert Dunbar. I've been with LegalShield for 13 years. Been a trainer for 6 years. 6 years on the networking side, 4 years on the business solution side, and 100K ring under 2 ring unders on my team. Love CDLP, love business solutions, love the networking side. So really here to train, really here to help. I'm doing a lot of field training via Zoom with people and trying to help people get to understand that we don't necessarily have to be in the same state with you to help you out, just to make sure that they're using the correct field trainers, because it can be difficult finding somebody to help with CDLP. So I've been able to enjoy this business for over a decade and create residual income and all that great stuff. So it is all here, guys, for you to get. This particular industry is different because you do want to understand, where you're selling this versus when you're selling the family plan. You kind of just know, we all kind of, as adults, we understand life. So if somebody has a life issue, you can kind of always associate yourself with that. But when it's CDLP, if you're not in that trucking space, you can't. So it's good to understand the industry. That's what this call is here for. Once you start hitting that field, then you can start joining that Thursday night call with Sharanda. And maybe I need to stop saying that way. Not as soon as you hit the field, but when you're ready to run. So when we say ready to run, that means that you can't be getting on the Thursday night call to get pumped up to go out. You got to be ready to go out and saying, hey, what do I do tomorrow? What do I do next week? That call will help you do that. Our call is really just to weekly have some training and a place for you to come to kind of hear what's happening in CDL, get your questions answered, and just stay current, and then we would suggest that you take the certification at least quarterly, at least 4 times a year. That way you're getting it in and you're getting that certification information, and you're hearing from different trainers because they keep swapping out. So try to schedule it so that you're getting a different trainer every time. Alan is always the main trainer, but one of the other trainers are always there as well, working with him side by side. So I know this month coming up in November, we'll have Chris Seelig training with Alan Roman. So for those that heard the last training, it was John Hoffman and Alan Roman. And Alan and John Hoffman is going to be going over some of the things he went over there, plus some different things as well. We're going to get started with the interview first, but before we start the interview, I'm going to have Ms. Sharanda Ivy introduce herself. When Sharanda, once you introduce yourself, if you can go ahead and bring Miss Donna in as well, and just start talking to her, start having that conversation with her. And I'm gonna jump in and ask some questions as well, because we have our special interview with Donna Williams. Her and her husband Eric Williams have one of our newest 50K ring earners, and she is also workout partners with Sharanda Ivy. So again, they got their ring a few days apart, and that is not a coincidence, right? So if you guys know what NCIS is, Gibbs says he doesn't believe in coincidences, right? So that did not happen because things just worked out that way. It happened because they were working together. And when you strive to hit a certain level and you got somebody holding you accountable, normally you guys can do it together. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Miss Sharanda Ivy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And sorry about the technical difficulties, but you know how technology is. So good evening, everyone. My name is Sharanda Ivy here from Byron, Georgia. And we've been in the business now a little over 8 years. And we are business solution software associates. We earned the Ladies of Justice Field Trainer for 2019, Field Trainer of the Year. And we are one of the newest, not the newest, but one of the newest 50K ring earners here with LegalShield. And just so excited to be in this space, because what I've learned, just by tapping in with and being mentored by Dunbar and Lamar and a lot of the other trainers here, but Robert and Lamar really just took me under their arms and taught me this part of this space, along with Chris Seeley, who at one time was like the only CDLP trainer we had. But I'm so grateful that these individuals took the time to mentor me. And here we are, probably about 3 years after that, earning our ring and earning it in this space by marketing the small business plan and our family and CDLP plans. Just being just cross-selling, but Dunbar taught me sales. Lamar taught me how to go out and market this. Chris taught me about the industry, how she had used it in the past, and all that together and just became a student of the commercial industry. But I am so excited, because not that I work with a lot of people, I do work with a lot of people on field training. I think that's how we actually got that Field Trainer of the Year. But it was just so marvelous that the young lady that I'm getting ready to introduce, her and her husband, are actually the newest 50K ring earners in LegalShield. And I can say that even though they work both sides of the business, I know that my workout partner works the CDLP space, probably 95% of her sales or 98% of her sales are in this space. And so I am so honored, because she started out as a field trainee. We had connected in a mastermind, and I field trained her, and if you ever been a field trainer, they can field train out. So and if you know what that means, is that corporate only allows you to field train with someone, a certain amount of time. So in the old program, but anyway, we connected, and after that we became workout partners. And a lot of people don't know, for almost a year, we split business 50-50. And we was just learning this business together. We was doing it together. And I can now turn the call over to the newest 50K ring earner in LegalShield, half of her, Miss Donna Williams. Over to you, partner.
Hey, partner. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Excellent. Welcome. Well, thank you, first of all, for having me on. I want to say welcome to all the CDLP family tonight. I'm truly excited to be able to do this with you, partner. This is something you and I talked about doing. We was grinding it out. But it's truly a pleasure to be able to be partnered with somebody who has the work ethic that you have. That's what I think makes us work so well together. We both have an amazing work ethic. And for those of you who are looking for a workout partner, find one that, that fits what you need, right? And so I had gone through some other workout partners prior to Miss Ivy. And, you know, once I always tell her God put us together. We like yin and yang. So we worked out really well together. Just wanted to share with you, Donna Williams out of the great state of Georgia. As you know, Ivy and I were workout partners. My husband and I do work this business together. And, you know, my focus, of course, is obviously solution side of the business. He does the network side of the business and works with our team. And I just have to say, you know, it just required us making a decision, to be honest with you. My background is in accounting and finance. Started this business in 2014 and of June of 2014. And so this is going on 7 years in the business, actually going on almost 8 years next June. So just happy to be in this space. You know, I feel like a lot of people doubt this space because they just don't really understand the space. And I'm sorry, I'm also letting people in. Apparently that keeps popping up on my screen.
Oh, okay. We're sorry about that. We got
okay.
that. You go ahead.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you, sis. And so, you know, the thing that I realized when connecting with Miss Ivy was that, you know, I had started in the CDLP space just making calls over the phone, but really wasn't, didn't really understand it, right? I had gone to a previous training, and to be honest with you, it kind of deterred me from wanting to do it. And I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I'm pretty transparent and real, so I'll just tell y'all my story. And but after taking another look at it and being on these trainings, it opened my eyes to another way of actually doing the business, right? And so, as Miss Ivy said, being able to learn from Dunbar and some of the other individuals that are on here, like Lamar Reynolds, and being able to see how they do the business, right? And being able to see, especially being able to service that industry that needs a lot of help, right? And so it's got to be about the mission of helping them, because I just say, don't get over here and play in this space. If you're going to come over here, be serious about it, because it requires you learning it. It requires you being able to understand what the need is over here, and then to be able to service that need. And so that's what, you know, that I love doing, is being able to service the need. And, you know, Miss Ivy, you better stop me, girl, if you need to ask me some questions, because, you know, I'll just keep rambling.
Yeah, Dunbar gonna jump in. He's gonna kick it off. Well, I'll kick it off, and then I'll throw it over to him, because he can do. Yeah, he'll dig more. He'll dig more than I can. But so one thing I know is that like you said, you had some other workout partners. You had looked at the space, like a lot of people do, and just not really understand. So I know, I mean, we've been in the space now really focused for almost 3 years now. So over those 3 years, what is one tip that, like, before you got focused on it? So over the past 3 years, not just LegalShield, because I make it clear here that you just do LegalShield. Like, you don't do like me. I created a whole nother company, but you focus on LegalShield. Would you share with people your focus on a day-to-day on how you are working your business? What is it like? Because I know you just focus on your LegalShield business. Like, you're not doing anything extra. It's all LegalShield. Can you share with them what that looks like for your business?
Yes, most definitely. So basically, a day in the life of Donna would look like, and focusing on LegalShield, is, honestly, I like to prep typically on the weekend or the night before, right? So when we was running for the ring, I would prep the weekend before, because I had to have a lot of numbers to dial, right? And so to be able to connect with people, right, to make those connections. So honestly, what I do is I block my day off, right? I have call times that I have blocked off so that I can make those dials, right? And then, of course, I have time where I can get up and move around for a minute or two as well, because, you know, sitting there making dials all day, it can get a little monotonous, you know, and humdrum. But being able to block my day, block my call times, make the dials, right? Have a set goal on what I want to hit exactly that day, right? And do I always hit it? No, but it's just the fact of going for it, right? And being able to be able from that to be able to make those connections, and then when making the connections, have some time for me to follow up. So I do new dials a part of my day, and then I do follow-up calls a part of my day to be able to make the connections, and then from there making those connections to make sure that I'm, you know, staying on track of what I'm doing. And I also keep a log of what I'm doing, so I track myself. I actually have a call sheet, so I'll know who I spoke to, what we spoke about. That's just how I like to do it. Just now learning to do HubSpot. My partner has told me about that before, but I've been a paper girl for a long time. Pen and paper girl, so I'm really trying to get into that and learn that as well, because over time you accumulate so much that, you know, to be able to keep track is just, it's better for business. I'm understanding that now. So I hope that's I hope I answered your question there, Miss Ivy.
You did. I have one more question, because I you know, I think a lot of people don't understand the activity. And I know, you know, you've been qualified for executive director probably most of this year. And and like I said, I know you make a lot of dials. Can you tell them what's probably your average and the most dials you hit? And then I pass it over to Dunbar.
Okay, excellent. So that I average at least 40 dials a day. If I had to get an average on it, my goal is always 50. But an average throughout the week, it would come up to like 40 dials a day. And that's just a new dial. Now, if we count in the follow-up calls, I try to make sure I get in at least 10 follow-up calls a day, which it can usually be more than that, because it's just follow-up. So, you know, sometimes you can run through them follow-ups a little quicker. So, yeah.
And I know too, you pick up we don't have to pick up the phone, but you actually dial. You don't use a dialer. You actually dial.
I actually, yes, that's why I have to have my list together, because I just run right through my list, so I can, because I have my phone in my hand. So it's just after one, just hang up, call the next one. And it's just more so about, you know, because when Ivy and I started out, as you mentioned, you know, we used to walk the community together. We used to go out there and grind it out, just going from business to business, right? And then, of course, COVID changed that for us, so we had to make that adjustment. And so just being in the home and having to make those dials, at first it was weird, I ain't gonna lie. Because when you go from being able to talk to people face to face to being over the phone talking, but when I realized that this is what we're gonna have to do, I just started doing it. And the more I did it, the easier it became. And so now it is what it is. It's what we do. In fact, I'd rather do this than go out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So Dunbar, you can take it from here, or John, take it from here. You guys, you know me.
No, good stuff. So definitely great questions. And Donna, again, congratulations to you and Eric for reaching that goal. That's definitely a big goal. And there's a lot of people on this line right now who are thriving to get to that, dreaming to get to that, wanting, pushing to get to that. and it's so important to understand, like, network marketing has been historically one of those things that people say, oh, the first person gets in makes the money. And it was really interesting because I was listening to what Sharanda said in the beginning when she started talking. It was like she started working in the space, and she was like, well, I want to do CDLP. So she started talking to me and talking to Lamar and showing up to all the trainings. And I remember when she came to the first training in Atlanta that I was a part of, and she was there. And it's like, you look at her now and like, she, #1 producer, Lady of Justice Award. She said more CDL plans than me. And I taught her, right? So it's like, when you see that, it's like, all you have to do is do the work. It doesn't matter when you come in. I've been in the business longer than she has. I've been doing CDLP longer than she has. But she has the LOJ award. She's been #1 producer, not CDLP, for the entire company, guys. So like, don't miss that. The entire company. The entire company. And again, she's only been doing CDLP for about 3 years. So it's like, your learning curve can be changed by you picking up the phone and calling people and asking questions. So again, there is no coincidence that you and Sharanda got y'all's rings like days apart. So what were you guys doing together that both of y'all were able to manage to earn that amount of money kind of at the same time, when y'all came from different places? Meaning, when y'all started running, y'all wasn't at the same income, I'm sure. Y'all income wasn't days apart, but y'all started working together, and all of a sudden, y'all's income got so close that y'all closed in on rings days apart. So let us know how you guys did that.
Yes, sir. Let me tell you, sir. That's exciting, because honestly, once I first actually even got my workout partner, that's when I actually saw my income starting to change. That's how important a workout partner. When she and I would get together, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay, great. My phone did something weird there, so I was wondering. So yeah, so when she and I started working together, being workout partners, that's when I actually started my income started to change. And it was just different because, you know, we both knew, it's so funny. We both were like, yeah, we want to become executive directors, you know, just consistently, let's just do that. You know, then it went from, you know, we don't want to be ED, we want to be 50K ring runners, right? So we were just saying these things. This is when we was walking the community, but you know, once we got in, we're in home, right? And that became the thing. It was just like, you know what, sis, we know we can do this, right? Because of the way we do our business. We knew from when we were out in the field that we were, what our capabilities were. And so being able to sit home and make the dials, we knew that we could accomplish, you know, even much more because we, you know, we were at the house, we could make the dials where we went spending that time driving around and things like that. So we just talked about it, you know, being workout partners, we decided, you know, this is what we want to run for. You know, we spoke daily, right? And checking in with each other saying, where you at, what your numbers are, right? Because you got to know your numbers. You got to know what it is in order to hit it, right? And so being able to connect with each other on that level and share what our numbers were, we actually had this little thing that we would track it. It's an app that we were using to be able to track, right? And so we tried different ways of tracking our numbers. And each day we were like, okay, where are we at individually? How much more do we need? So we were constantly talking to each other about where we were and telling each other we got this because we knew once we made a decision, we knew we could do it, right? And so it's just her and I being able to make that connection together, to commit to it, to hold each other accountable to it, right? Not allow each other to slack. So that's the importance of having a workout partner. I don't know, you know, if you got somebody that's gonna allow you to slack, then yeah, that's not a real workout partner, right? It's about having a person that's gonna speak truth to you. So we were okay with each other speaking truth to each other. Right. And so that's what made it good for us to be able to know I am not driving. Whoever just put that up there. My husband is driving. We just were out celebrating his birthday. So that's why I'm in the car. So we were 100% safe over here. So
tell Eric to stick his head in that camera and say, hey.
I'll turn it so y'all can see him. I don't even know if y'all see him. It's kind of dark. They say hey.
Yeah, babe. Brother, what's up? Happy birthday, brother.
There you go. That's my husband, everybody. He's the one that takes care of our team. Good stuff, brother. Appreciate you guys. Good stuff, brother. Yeah. So I would just say, you know, it took us being able to be serious about what we wanted, being able to put our focus on that. Tracking is important. Down to the day, down to the hour, down to the minute. And my husband helped a lot with that tracking. He did the board and everything. So I just called make in. So that was it.
Awesome. Absolutely. And you got to know one thing too, Dunbar, we with all the incentives that were out, you know, like she said, knowing our numbers, knowing what our income was, getting that ring number from corporate, because, you know, we all start over every month. I mean, your 12 months could be anywhere in your business. So just knowing those numbers, knowing what the incentives were, knowing what we needed, I think, you know, because, I mean, we knew if we made a sale, we were going to make this much. We knew this was going in the account. So, you know, and being aware of that, because I know when I'm field training, a lot of people, you know, it's just some things they just don't know. And I think Don and I realized that this business could pay us. And, you know, everybody teaches that, you know, you got to know the business to know what your numbers are. You got to be serious about it. You got to really know. And those are the things that we took serious. We knew our numbers. We knew what it took to make a certain amount. We knew the activity we would have to make. And I think all that was important. So, you know, the goal really was, I think, for us to qualify on the exact same Wednesday.
Yes, that was the goal.
That was the goal, to qualify on the exact same Wednesday. But, you know, but it was close. It was close enough to be the same week. So, but you got to know that. And that's what we did, you know, just, you know, and Dunbar, you taught us a lot of that with tracking. So, you know, that's why I was so close. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't play around with that. I think one of the things too is just being aware of not only, in the tracking part of it is how much am I earning from what I'm selling, right? So basically, what's the commission on it? Like we had that down to the penny too, right? Like how much is this gonna get me, when you're sharing these services. So sharing, of course, to make sure that we're providing the best for our customers, our future members, or our members at this point, right? Is focusing on what's best for them, not trying to give people what you think they need, but providing for what they really need. And so in that, we're huge on with the small business. Like we don't play no games with it because we understand the need in the marketplace for that, as well as being able to provide them with everything else that they need. So thank you so much, partner. I appreciate you, girl. We heading to the 100K, just so y'all know, in case it ain't been
That's
put
what I'm
out there
talking
yet.
about.
We already on to the next one. Exactly.
There you go. There you go. And no, and it's so good because we forget sometimes. So like in the book that I wrote, I talk about network marketers calling themselves network marketers instead of calling themselves business owners in the network marketing industry. So it's so interesting that you say that, because you're like, it's so vital to track numbers, and it's so vital to make sure you're selling that product based on what the customer needs. Well, those are regular business principles, but we get into these sales companies and we forget, and it's all about earning something, and we forget to sell people based on, hey, you really need to have this plan, not going from the 49 to the 99 because it earns you a very bigger commission, but because in the CDLP space, they don't get state to state with the 49. They can't add the trial defense on to the 49. So that's not a good plan for them. So when you're selling that 99 or above, you're selling it really because that is the very best plan for that trucking company, for that owner operator, right? So you're servicing the client correctly and earning a commission at the same time. You're tracking your numbers, because how dare you open up a business, right? Especially if you get a loan from a bank to open up a business and not track your numbers. Right. Like you can't not check it. You walk into a business owner's business and they know how much everything costs. They know how much they make based on what they paid for. They know what the profit, they know everything about their business. And then we join a company like this, and 2 years in, somebody says, what do you make when you sell a plan? And you got to go look at the comp plan. And I'm like, how you been selling memberships for 12 months and you don't know what you're making on sale? You don't even know what your commission statement is. And it's like you can hit the 50K by a mistake sometimes, but you will not earn six figures in any business by a mistake. You're not going to just work with your head down to end up at 100K. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to track your numbers, pay attention to what's going on, and run for it like you guys did. So having that accountability partner to bounce things off of. When I hit my 100K, like I said, I had 7 different people that were texting me every day. Alistair Edwards, Kylo Brown, Kevin Mack, Danny Katoa. I had a bunch of people every day texting me. Did you look at your numbers today? Did you look at your numbers today? And there was some mornings that I got up and I was just like, dude, I don't want to hear this right now. Because I was stressed out about whatever was going on. And it's like, but I had to respond to them because I asked them to hold me accountable. And sometimes we don't understand that that's so very important, to make sure that somebody is there making sure on the days that you're just not feeling your best, that you can't make the most phone calls, that somebody is saying, come on, we got a goal in mind. And you need to have that. And you guys running together and being in sync, that proves that you guys hooked up, started working together, and y'all numbers like on the same Wednesday, man, 2 or 3 days apart, man, you have to be tracking your numbers. That is not a mistake. For 2 different organizations, 2 different, not organizations, but 2 different associates to literally run their numbers together within days without tracking, without literally tracking and saying, hey, we got to pay attention to what we're selling. Yeah. So, I mean, it's laid out, and they keep hearing it over and over again. We need to keep hearing it over and over again. So I'm gonna turn it over to John, because John's gonna be doing the interview, some training anyway. See if John has any questions for you. John, after you ask any questions for Miss Donna, then from there you can go ahead and take it into your training as well, brother.
All right, sounds good.
I'm sorry. Did you say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, any questions for Donna?
If
Yes,
you got
yes.
any questions for Donna, John, go ahead. But then when you finish talking to Donna, then you can go into your training, because I know you got training that you're gonna be doing.
All right. Well, I have a question. Well, I'm actually learning from Donna right now because I have to go through a transition where I was going to call trucking companies in person. And in 2 more days, I'm going through double knee replacement surgery. So I have to call people. Yeah, I got to call people and I can't walk to them anymore for a while. So I got a list. I'm going to show you. I accumulated that list, but I have enough on that list to make 40 phone calls a day for 150 days straight.
Go, John.
So I
Come
want to
on,
show you
John.
how you get that kind of size of a list. And it's a little bit of work, but hopefully it'll be able to share that with everybody, and they can also share that same success that Don and Sharonda have. So let me put this on full screen so I see what I'm sharing here. I'm going to start with how I prospect for trucking companies. And I shared a website on my training. Let me go and share a screen here, and I hope everybody got it, but let me pull it up again in case somebody missed it. Okay. That's this one right here. Okay. And this was, you can just maybe write that down, that website there. This will give you a list of all the trucking companies in the United States that have been fined by the FMCSA for 2021 so far. You can go back and hit historical data too for 7 years down to 2015. And like this for the whole country, and you can also narrow it down to state. So I always go to California because that's where I'm at. These are my first people that I go after. I see who got fined, and I document their DOT number, and I'll enter them on an Excel spreadsheet. And that's the people that I would call them, because these are the people that have felt a little bit of pain from the DOT and FMCSA from their audits that they're getting. These are the people that you want to talk to. And this, and instead of going to the HR manager or the safety manager, you want to go right directly to the owner, because that's the person that wrote that check. You know, the HR person, he didn't write that check. He didn't feel that pain. He might have got reprimanded a little bit, you know, but and same with the safety manager too. But the owner is the one you want to talk to, or the CFO, or the treasurer, or somebody that would have a check writing ability. And those are the ones that are going to want to probably talk to you. So let me pull up a screen of one of my sheets here. Anybody see that Excel sheet?
No, you still on our FMCSA site.
Okay, let me change it.
Somebody asked if you could put the
Okay, so this is an Excel spreadsheet I have on the Inland Empire. Here's I have the DOT numbers, and I have a color codes for people that I've called on or people I want to call on, their phone numbers, addresses, the amount of drivers, the vehicle score, the driver score, and on the far end here, let me minimize my screen, contact information and little tidbits of information, talking points I want to talk to them about, like if they go 48 states, they just go out of state. If they've been fined, I can see your notation of a fine. Also, if they're not authorized, and just little things. So you see this is quite an extensive list, and I'll just scroll down to the bottom to see how big this is. We get down to over like 2,400 names just in the Inland Empire in Southern California, which is not even part of Los Angeles. So when I go to an area, I'm going to pick an area, like a geographical area, and I'm going to go to some of these companies. Just here's one that's got a conditional rating, got fined, he's inactive. He definitely wants to talk to us. And here's some that are just got small fines. Here's one that's 48 states. And really the ones that are 48 states are prime prospects. Those are the ones we want to talk to. Those are the ones that need our services the most. But if you're like me, if you're going out there and you're talking to some trucking companies and the drivers, they're going to say, the drivers have that already. And they'll assume that it's our program, but it's not. It's something that they'll buy in a truck stop. It's called TVC, is what my main competitor is out here. So in our back office, we have a comparison chart that compares a lot of our competitors with our commercial driver legal plan. That is a difficult tool to use in the marketplace. So what I did is I created one that just focuses on TVC. So let me go in and I'll pull that up. Okay, right there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So this
Can you
is
share that with us?
yeah, I'll send it to Robert. Okay, this is a comparison that shows the TVC Driver Pro plan is about $49 a month and $48 enrollment fee, and who it covers and what they do. And I'd say it does the same things that we do, pretty much, except they charge surcharges if you have to use the membership for ticket traffic related incidences. And it says in our LegalShield generated page, that's about $25 per incident. But I've been coming across a lot more horrific stories than that, where drivers are getting charged $2,300 to go to court for them from TVC, even up to $5,000 to go to court for them for an excessive speeding ticket. So they are charging quite a bit for their upcharges, whereas we don't do that so much, except if it's like an excessive speeding. But in that case, the attorney charging $5,000, our attorney, because our membership, that person got the membership, our attorney is going to charge for the same ticket to our new members $605 for the same ticket. Big difference. But then I'll go and I'll say, well, if you're used to spending $50 a month, we can give you our driver plan, plus we can give our life events plan and give you all this other items also too, which TVC doesn't cover. So that is my selling point with TVC, because they'll say, yeah, I have that already and I like it and I use it. But I say, well, if you ever had to use it for a ticket, and they'll say, well, yeah, I've had to use it. I have an upcharge. They charge me extra. I say, well, we don't do that for the basic type of tickets. But then they'll also say something like, well, I like it because they have a fuel card program. So I was also wondering why they have a upcharge. And because what I found out also too is that by accident, I found out that some of the same attorneys that we use through LegalShield also take care of TVC. So that was a little bit of a surprise to me, that why would TVC have an upcharge if we have the same attorney? What's the money going towards? This must be going directly to the company. So that would be another talking point, is that when they have TVC, if we have an upcharge, well, we have basically the same attorney. We don't have to pay an upcharge for that. But I would ask them, well, why do you have TVC? Is it for ticket protection or is it for the fuel card? And they say, well, it's for ticket protection. I say, well, you're going to find out when you use it, it's going to cost you more. But if you have it for the fuel card, keep it for that. Use it for the fuel card program. It'll save you money on diesel. But if you need legal services, help, we're the much bigger animal in the house. Where in fact, if you've actually downloaded the TVC app on your phone compared to our app, they only have like 5,000 downloads on their app, and they have a much poorer rating than we do as far as a customer rating. We have over 500,000 downloads on our app, of course. Of course, we cover much more than the CDLP, but our family plans and business plans as well too. So this is the tool that I shared to combat that TVC question, and then I share the information that I know about TVC. So when I go to a company, I'll share some more information here that I share with the companies, is that these are the handouts that I will give to them. And you've seen, let's see, which sheet do we share on our training? Okay, this is the one that we share in our training that talks about the CSA scores being erased by the attorney getting a ticket dismissed or reduced to a lesser infraction. And this is what I will go in the first time when I talk to a customer. I won't go in with anything LegalShield related until I can have an actual sit down meeting with the decision maker. Okay. And then if I don't get it the first time, the next time I walk in with maybe another tool, just something just to give information, not LegalShield related, just something to create an atmosphere of, I'm creating an atmosphere of, having an interest in his business and keeping him safe and keeping his driver safe. Some of this materials are good for like a driver training room. Some are actually good for the owners itself. Okay. Then after I get a group signed up on this, I will actually blow these flat sheets up to an 11 by 17 size, and I'll post them in the driver rooms, so that it'll just be out there for the drivers to always have safety on the mind. Okay, and then on top of that, we always know what this sheet is here. This is their interactive flat sheet. When you get a group signed up, when I get a group signed up, I'll have one made up with the name of it on there, even their website they create for us too. I'll have this blown up to an 11 by 17 size also too, and have it laminated as well also. And I'll put that in the driver room too, so that they know that they can go to this website and get their legal plans, without me having to be there. All right, so when I go around, let me get out of this.
Hey, John.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So I want to ask you a question, maybe two.
Sure.
So I'm trying to kind of break down a little bit what you're saying. One, I want to go back to on the FMCSA site. I'll drop the link inside the chat, but I know when they go there directly, they're not going to get to where you put those companies up at. So when they get to the FMCSA website, what's the easiest way for them to get to where you were pulling companies at, as far as the states and their citations?
Let me go to the root of that. Let me find the root of that site here. Hang on a second. Oh, that was something else I shared too. FMCSA, where to go? Okay, so you go to it just says ai.fmcsa.gov. You go to that, and I'll go to here, and I'll just close the rest of this out, and I'll show you how we get there. Okay, that'll bring this site out here. Go to roadside inspection driver violations.
Now hold on right there for me.
Okay,
Do me a favor, John.
All right, good. Let me go back.
Grab that URL where you're at now.
Okay.
And drop that in the chat for us real quick.
Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I clicked on the wrong one, actually. We're going to go to
and just so you all know,
enforcement cases.
This is running live on YouTube, guys. So all the steps that John is taking right now, you can go back and look at the YouTube video, and you can pause it and take notes and do all of those things, just so you guys know. So it is running live on YouTube, which means it'll be there for you guys to rewind and fast forward. As soon as we're done tonight, you can go right to the YouTube channel, and it'll already be there. Go ahead, John.
Okay, so you go to closed cases. That'll bring up all the activity in the country. This is updated about every 60 days too. So it's just updating recently. It'll be updated probably sometime towards the end of December, where you're going to be able to add some more leads to it also. And then what I was pointing out also too is that everybody was talking about what COVID is happening is that doing a lot more virtual inspections now for the DOT and FMCSA. So as a result of a lot more virtual inspections, the fines are actually quite a bit down, about half of what they were in 2017. Because in 2021, they're estimated out to be about 2,500 fines. And they're going to be sent out to trucking companies. But back in 2017, over 5,000 fines were sent out when COVID was not around. So as soon as the COVID runs its course, when things are back to normal again, there's going to probably be a big backlash of trucking companies that have not been as tight as they should have been on safety scores and safety meetings and in taking care of their fleet. This is going to probably uptick quite a bit pretty soon as COVID get back to normal. All right, so let me get out of that screen, and then I also do my prospecting. Is I will walk around or drive around with a little digital voice recorder instead of a phone. You want to use one of these to accumulate your DOT numbers as you go around, and that's how I accumulate my list. Is that in the evening hours when I'm not prospecting, I'll just convert these DOT numbers I recorded and I'll enter them on my prospecting list. So let me show you that.
So John, somebody asked, could you clarify what you said about the attorney charging $600 versus TBC?
Yeah, that was a driver that was going down a road we here call the Grapevine from Los Angeles down to the Central Valley. It's a notorious area where truckers get cited a lot. He was going 17 miles over the speed limit. He's going 57, I believe in the 35 is what it was. So it was a major speeding ticket. You know, he was going way too fast for his truck. He had TVC, and he called the TVC attorney, and the attorney said, well, I'll represent you in court. It'll cost you $5,000 upcharge for me to go to court for you. He got the membership from us, and our attorney charged him for the same ticket, $605 for a pre-existing condition for the same ticket. So TVC is like, we got soaring up charges that they're assessing drivers, you know, with their membership that costs more than ours does to begin with.
Got you. And for those that don't know, TVC, the history of TVC, short history, is that they used to be a part of LegalShield years ago. Harlan Stonesour and the owner were partners, and then they broke off. So that's why they have a relationship with some of our law firms in the first place. Our program is certainly a lot better. So John just went through that deal, so you don't need to know all of that. But just understand that that's where that history comes from. That is our biggest competitor, but our plan certainly outdoes theirs. And, you know, John may have mentioned this. I may have missed this, John. We do that 100% tragic accident coverage, and nobody else does that. So right. That's just something that we can hold above everybody else. Something else you mentioned that I want to ask about is, because I preach the same thing, and I know Sharanda does as well, and so many other B2B people with this. You know, it's debatable. It depends on who you're talking to. You said that when you went in with those couple of documents, you have nothing LegalShield. Explain to us why you don't have anything LegalShield on those first couple of stop bys when you're dropping things off.
I don't want them to prejudge us or look it up online before we have an actual chance to do a full presentation to them. I'll give them a LegalShield card if I get their business card. If I don't get their business card, you know, I find other ways to go about doing it. And like, for instance, if I see a gatekeeper, this is what I'll have out. I got this idea from a realtor, and I got a little bag of microwave popcorn, and I printed these labels on it. And I stick one of these labels on it, and I just give it to the gatekeeper, and it's just basically saying, I pop by, you know, to meet you. And then ask some questions on there, some leading questions about CSA scores, and if ever had to let a good driver go, and are your insurance costs increasing, you know, from rising CSA scores. Something for perk and interest that it will give me a little bit of reciprocation from the gatekeeper or the owner. Say, I'm giving you a 28-cent bag of popcorn, you're going to give me a meeting. Okay, so that's the idea behind that.
No, that is ingenious. Like, I don't know if anybody else has told you that, but that is my kind of thing right there.
That's
like
good.
That is really,
that's
that's excellent icebreaker. Yeah, excellent icebreaker. No, that is great. I love it. Okay. I love it.
Now, people want to know how I track my customers too, because what I'll do is after I meet them, I will, if I don't get, you know, the deal the first day, which doesn't happen very often, I'll track them. So this is, you know, I noticed you do have a sheet on your Facebook page, Robert, that another associate designed. It's a full page sheet. This is a half page sheet with a backside on it too. And I just have some basic information on there about, you know, the company name, address, phone number, employees, drivers, and important people in this company. And I will keep track of their track of their scores here in this section here. And I'll check it like every 30 days or every couple of weeks. And I'll watch what's happening with the company. If I see it, you know, ticking up, you know, or going in the wrong direction, that gives me a reason to go back to them again and go back to them, you know, on a more often basis. If I see it, you know, going down or staying the same, I'll probably go in. I'll say, you're doing a good job on it. You know, what can we do to improve it even more? But then I'll put the major tickets down here. Like if they don't have a CDL, or they got a texting ticket or a cell phone ticket or a speeding ticket, construction zone speeding ticket, drugs or alcohol. And then if they have crashes and accidents and there are any injuries or fatalities. On the fatality area of it, it's surprising. You'll see some on the FNCSA reports, you'll see where there's a fatality report on there. And in most cases than not, that's the driver that got killed in that accident. You know, there's not a lot of safety built into those trucks. Matter of fact, last Tuesday, I was in the LA area and witnessed a horrific accident where the fire department was draping a blanket over the cab of this truck, which was crushed to about the size of a coffee table. Okay, the front part of it, and that just, you know, that driver, you know, something went wrong there. That driver wasn't paying attention. Hit something that hard that he just got literally just crushed into, and he got killed instantly, I'm sure. So a lot of times when you see fatalities or injuries, that's usually the driver that got injured in it. Although in the paper, in the newspaper, or in the TV news channels, you'll always see truck accidents when you see other people that get injured in it. That's what the headline will be. But when they have those things, then that's the reason why I want to talk about the business plan. When I see those types of things with crashes and fatalities and injuries, and I want to talk about the business plan. And when they made the change to the small business plan, when they included interstate related issues, that opened the door to that $169 business plan for me to almost automatically talk about that to any trucking company I go to. And they can afford it. You go to these trucking companies, look in the parking lot, and you see what kind of cars they drive. And you're seeing, Hummers and Escalades and Maseratis, and they can afford $169 or $183.95 with the hour supplement for these trucking companies. So they go interstate, and we have the answer for them. What you didn't have before, even with our small biz 100 plan, we have the answer for them now. That makes it an easy sale, for trucking companies to go to for cross selling. But I keep track of these drivers, on this simple sheet here, and then on the backside it's just an extension with little areas for notes back here, and I can share that with you too. And that's just the half sheet. I cut it in half, and I just staple this to the report that I print out on the FMCSA score. So I will actually print out their FMCSA report, and on it I will circle and highlight the tickets that the driver caused them that we could have done something about if the driver had our membership, and the ones that were really painful where they caused an out of service, because you'll see tickets on there where a driver might have got a red light ticket and he got an out of service and he was out of state when that happened. So he's got to pull over for 10 hours. You can't move that truck for 10 hours. Or maybe he got a vehicle infraction ticket where they have to send out a mechanic to get it fixed before he can move it. Or maybe the driver didn't have his license on him. He's put out of service for that and he can't drive it at all. They have to actually fly another driver out there or hire another trucking company to take over the load for them, giving up the profit they were making on that load because the driver forgot his driver's license. And you'll see those incidents happen on that report. And I don't mind showing them to them. Some people think you're kind of like rubbing it in the face a little bit, but I'm not really doing that. I'm just saying what we could have done and how we could have helped you in these instances. And a lot of times you're going to be circling almost every other infraction on there that the driver had on there, and it's going to make quite an impact on them. What a program would do, like ours, if the drivers had it. And of course, I never stress a fringe benefit or partial fringe. It's either self pay or payroll deduction. And then also, when I go into a place, if they don't have a card, I have one for them. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a little blank business card I printed out. It just says new client information. Please put your name and address in here and phone number. And because a lot of times you go to a place, they won't have a card. And so I'll just say, well, here, I got a card you can fill out and give it to me, and I'll still give you my card. If they won't give me my card, they won't fill that out, I won't even stop by there anymore. I'll keep track of them still, but I won't leave them anything at all. Then I just have an attitude about that. I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder if I'm not getting a friendly response. If I don't think they're respecting me enough to at least give me their contact information.
No, that's a big deal, John. And I'm glad you said that, because a couple of things you said. One, you got to know a prospect from a suspect. And as a salesperson, you have to know when you're kind of being disrespected. And we don't talk a lot about that. We think as salespeople, we're supposed to just get, crap shoveled on us and just keep following up anyway, because it's all about timing. Well, sometimes it's not worth all of the drama for a sale. So you have to, as a respectable business owner, salesman, saleswoman, you got to know when somebody's shoveling crap and it just like, that's it. They're not a prospect. They're a suspect at a certain point. And it depends on what you sell for a living, what you do, how that works. So that's one thing. Something else, tracking, right? So a couple weeks ago, we talked about tracking. I pulled up the enhancement chart to get to the 50K ring. Donna just did an interview and she talked about tracking numbers. You hear Sharanda talk about tracking numbers. Now you're talking about tracking clients. And if you remember Sharanda's story from months and months and months ago, when she had a trucking company who numbers got bad and she was following them. You know, she had went there, then she started following them. I'm kind of putting her story in the box. It's not the whole story, but she ended up seeing that their numbers got really bad, and she called them back and said, "Hey, you know what's going on here?" And then was able to help them. That was one of the first companies she was able to really thoroughly go in and help from start to finish. So it's one of those things that even from tracking the numbers on what you're making on the sale to tracking your numbers to getting to 50K, 100K, 150K a year, to tracking the information on the company that you're prospecting. Running a business is about tracking. You have to keep up with data to know, because if you don't know why you're doing good, you can't stop yourself from doing bad. Does that make sense? And I know, and this as a business coach, I've seen that 1,000 times where people are like, oh, I'm good. I'm making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, but they don't really know how they're making it. It's just a good time for their business. And then when business starts to go bad and their income cuts in half, they're like, I don't know how to stop the bleeding. Well, that's because you never started, you never started the income coming into the business in the first place. You just happen to be in a good arena, a good business at a good time. And business did well. And then when business started hurting, you like, I don't even know where to start looking for the problem because you never started the flow in the first place, if that makes sense. So it's really good that you're tracking the way that you're tracking, because that is very good business practice to say, don't just have a good month and not know why. Know why you had a good month. That way you know why you have a bad month, so you can prevent as many bad months as possible, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And sometimes you might think the owner might think you're stalking him by doing that, but no, we're just having an interest in his success. We want to have a good interest in his success. So I also talked about subscribing to the trade magazines, that you see out there in trucks, in trucking companies, Commercial Carrier Journal. There's a few I have around here. I actually threw a bunch out because I start hoarding them after a while. But you read the articles in there, and I read an article in there, one trucking company that was giving their drivers orange safety socks to their new drivers. So I thought, well, that's a clever idea, because I've tried other things before. I tried to raffle off a TV and raffled off a Bluetooth expensive headset for drivers. It's called a Blue Parrot. About a $200 investment, and it didn't create any excitement at all whatsoever. I mean, the driver, it's like they didn't really care about it, that they want it. But I saw this orange sock idea, and I found a source for orange socks, and the website on it is cottonconnection.com. They are out of them right now, but there's some more coming in on the boats that are waiting to be unloaded in Los Angeles. Probably sometime in November or late November, early December. And they run about $1 a pair for a pair of orange tube socks or cruise socks. They've got the ankle socks right now, but I didn't want to order any of those. But I started passing out some of those when I went to trucking companies to enroll drivers. I would say, here what we have. Here's a pair of socks. Do me a favor, bring another driver over here. I'll give you another pair. Okay, or if you get both our plans from us, our life events plan and our commercial driving plan, I'll give you another pair. And before you know it, I had one company that I give a new group enough socks for all the drivers, and then this owner of this company is now bringing the drivers to me. It says, instead of me going out after them, I'm just giving them $1 pair of socks in order to do that. It's just a little trinket type of thing. I did that with tread depth gauges also too. And for people that aren't in the tire business, that don't know what that is, that's something that will measure the depthness of the rubber left on the tires to know if they're illegal or not. Because you'll see a lot of tickets that drivers are getting are for tires that are below the limit. And if they don't have the right tool with them to disprove it or prove it, or even tell their safety manager this truck needs tires, so I just give them little things like that. It's just a cheap little giveaway. Even those aluminum safety wallets, they were given away too in some of the group schools that I had taken some of those when they were available. I can't find them anymore though. But these are all just dollar items, that are like little innocent giveaways that again, I'm giving you something, you give me a membership. Okay, that's almost the way that works, and it's almost magical how that works. And you can imagine that you go to open one trucking company, and all of a sudden you see half the drivers walking around with orange socks and the other half don't. What are those the ones that don't have the orange socks? What are they going to feel like? They're going to say, hey, I want some of those too. Let me go talk to that guy. So it's kind of like a little bit of incentive to get something like that too. I think that's probably most information I had.
Good. No, that's good. That's good. And I know we still got quite a few people on the call. I know some people had to jump off because it was 9:30. Are the orange socks reflective? Somebody just dropped in a chat.
No, they're not. They're not reflective.
They're not?
No.
Well, just so you know, orange socks are organically reflective.
Yeah.
So, if I see somebody walking in orange socks, I'm certainly gonna look twice. And if you cross the street with someone, I promise you, I'm gonna see you if you got orange socks on your feet. So I'm sure that they work in that manner, because just like the orange vest, safety vest that people wear, so they're probably not reflective in the sense of being reflective, but they're going to do that job, which is why they're kind of construction orange, like when we say construction company orange. So does anybody have any questions for John before I go to the field? Though I'm sorry, let me ask the other trainer. Let me ask Sharanda and Sharon, if either one of you guys have any questions for John. If you guys don't, then we'll turn it over to the field so that you guys can ask some questions to John before we close out here.
No questions at this time. Sorry.
Good. All right, got you guys. Anybody else?
No, I was just gonna say, some great tips, John. You gonna share your tracking sheet? That looks really good. I don't have to make one.
I'll send that to the Facebook page also too. Send it to Robert and.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I just want to say to the ones that are still on here and who will see it on replay, John has a background in I think he used to sell tires, but John, he just like a lot of the other people, he's taking the time to research and learn different things about how to get his prospects, how to learn for the industry. And I think that's what a lot of people miss, that they think everything is just going to be given to them without them having to just be creative. You have to be creative and be serious about what you're trying to do here. And those are some great things that he just did. So awesome training, John. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Sharanda. I hope the same success you have just by working from home with my telephone while my knees are recovering.
You're going to do it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look what you did in the field. So just switch it over to the phones, and it takes time to build that pipeline, but it'll come, it will. And you're already set up. Awesome. I'm done.
Anybody else? Does anybody have any questions for John before we close out?
I would just like to have that comparison sheet. I think that's really neat. I have a company that I think has that, and I would love to have that comparison sheet.
So what's going to happen is John is going to send it to me, and I'm going to put it on the Facebook page, and I'm also going to email it out. So I sent the email out yesterday to everybody. And I know everybody doesn't. So guys, you got to check your email, because people have actually text me like, hey, I need the call information, or hey, and I'm like, I emailed like 1,700 of y'all yesterday. And it's like, you gotta look at your email. Like you can't like just assume that you're not getting things or overlook stuff because it's LegalShield. I know guys have been LegalShield 13 years. I know we get 1,000 emails from the market leaders and LegalShield and business solutions guys. We all get them. But if you run into business, and that's just part of being a business owner, you got to understand that you're going to have a ton of emails coming in, and you got to look through them. You got to filter through them. If it's that hard on you, you're going to have to get you a little assistant or something. I don't know what to tell you, but if you don't want to miss stuff, you gotta be on there and get the emails. So just check the emails. I have most of you guys on the list. I know, I would imagine probably about 90% of the people that are on this Zoom, I have your email. So just look for the email tomorrow. But again, if you're saying it's easier to go to Facebook, go to the Facebook page, just check the file section. I'll upload it there as well. So you'll be able to go there. So if it's easier, whichever way is more convenient for you, go there and do it. So if you don't want to check your email, you just want to go to Facebook, it's going to still be there. And whatever John sends me, I'm going to put there. So if he sends me 2 or 3 different documents, I'll put them all there separately. And then I'll also email them out where you can just click and download. That way you guys will have them to use them in the field. So that's how that'll work.
How can I make sure I'm on your email list?
If you text me your email, just text it to me, then I can look and see. But Karen, if that's Karen Ward, so I'm about 100% sure you're on there. But it's always good to just kind of check. So if you want to text me or email me or message me on Facebook, whichever is convenient for you, so that I can check and see. But I'm almost 100% sure that you're on there. But remember, especially if you got like Gmail, my emails might be going to the promotion section of your Gmail because I'm sending out a commercial kind of email. So when it's coming from my
make sure
system,
you ain't unsubscribe. But they probably in your
Oh, yeah.
spam. Everybody on here probably got an email.
yeah, and it could be that, it could be spam, it could be you
'Cause you have
unsubscribed
to-
at one point.
You had
Yeah.
to get an email to because initially to get on the Zoom, you had to give him your information one point of time to get into his Zoom. So that's how he got your emails.
Absolutely,
Hey,
absolutely.
Robert,
Okay,
Robert,
thank you.
Uh-huh.
if John can show us the sequence of how he got to the name that lists the trucking companies. I was clicking while he was talking and I never could reach that list. Could he do that right quick, please?
The list you talking about showing how to get to the
truck that list
on
of all the
FMCSA?
trucking- Yeah.
If John can, if he can, I'll see if he can. If he can't for any reason, it's on YouTube. Like this actual training is on YouTube, so you can go back and look at it there as well. But he may be able to do it. I'm not sure whether he can or not because I can't see him. So I don't know. Let me see.
I'll try and post that on chat again real quick.
All right. So, and Tyson also is in the chat too. So we also put it in the chat, how to get there. But the step-by-step, I would say, because I learned that way too. Like I'm the kind of person that kind of need kind of a walkthrough on stuff.
Yeah.
So if you look at the YouTube is running YouTube live now. So as soon as we stop this deal, it'll already be up there live on my YouTube channel. So you can just go to it and look. But when you look on it, I would just say like go to where he went through the steps, and you'll see like where he clicked on what he clicked on to get there once he got the FMCSA. Because it's important to know how to pull up your specific state and how to pull it up by fines. Where he pulled up closed cases. That's going to be really important if you want to prospect that way. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
This is Sherry Harris. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I just want to say, John took me by the hand and like walked me step by step as a field trainer last week, showed me a couple of things. I'm brand new to CDL. I've been with LegalShield for years, but I've not done the CDL. And I want to say I appreciate you so much for running the appointments with me. And we got some stuff we're going to work out and taking time and being patient with me. And I also want to say, Mr. Dunbar and Ms. Ivy, I appreciate how organized this whole thing is and how much I'm learning from this and how well this is put together, our Monday meetups. So I feel really comfortable being in this space, and I never thought I'd be interested in anything commercial drivers. but I want to say thank you to everybody. So that's it.
Oh no, we appreciate it, and it's good. That's what the field trainers are there for, to help that way. And we're glad that people are able to get on it and really understand the information and use this to really build into the field. Because I know when I started doing CDLP, we had our every third Friday of the month we had the CDLP call that corporate was doing. And it's like now that we have this weekly deal, we've got a Facebook page. Sharanda Ivy has a weekly accountability call. It makes it so much more comfortable to operate in this space when you've got people doing the same thing that you're communicating with. You've got documents you can grab. You got questions you can ask on Facebook. That makes it so much easier to get through the information and the work out in the field. So no, we appreciate you telling us that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And one thing is that I think when people understand the product, and I think with these coaching calls, when Dunbar started that, we didn't always have that. And so you heard Donna say when she went to her first class, I remember her telling me, she walked out. She wasn't interested. Like, I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm not doing this. And I think a lot of people have that when it comes to the industry. You have to learn this industry. It's not... LegalShield is just a part of it. You have to know the industry on how we can help. And I think that those that are willing to learn find that it's really not that bad, because you realize that what we do helps keep these individuals employed. and be able to support their families. And so, so just like you said, you wasn't interested, but you got with John and you saw that, wow, this is okay. And you come to the call and learn a lot. And I think that's where the stigma comes in when people don't understand the industry. And so they don't like, this division. But you see that the success is here for those that are willing to stick it out and learn. So kudos to everybody who's sticking it out and learning it and going out and helping a lot of people. Shout out to all of you guys.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And I will have this broken up too. So we're gonna have the full blown training, and then I'll probably break up the interview and this information separately as well, and put it there with a thumbnail so you guys will be able to see it on the YouTube channel. But right now, it's gonna be there just like this, so you can just kind of fast forward, rewind, do whatever you want to do. So you can take your notes on the nuggets or whatever you need to do. So again, as soon as we close this out, you'll be able to access it on YouTube immediately. Even when I'm editing it, you guys will be able to take a look. Anybody else have any questions?
And if they'll give you a few minutes, I saw a few people in it. I saw somebody posted that the files weren't there. Just give it at least 24 hours before the stuff is uploaded. John has to get it to Dunbar. And you have to remember we're all independent, so it's not there right now. So if you look in the file and it's not there, it's not on the site.
Oh yeah. I don't even have that stuff yet. So once John gets it to me, then we'll get it in there.
Right. Exactly.
Have any of you been collecting testimonials from companies that you've been helping? I have not, Marlene. I haven't collected any testimonials. I've gotten some, but I haven't really put them on paper. Has anybody else, Sharanda or John or anybody else that's in the field just working?
I don't have them put together, but I get testimonials. I would say, Marlene, and I don't say this to be ugly, but if you start talking to more companies and things like that, the testimonies will come. But I will make a effort to try to type up some, because we do have some success, because we do intakes with our companies, and most companies, a lot of drivers, they don't connect with you until after they have a problem. So it's some testimonials out there. Well, video, yeah, that do help, but you talk to more people and you'll create your testimonials. I'll say that. It does help, but I don't have time to just do all that. But I will make a conscious effort to type up some, because I have some pretty good ones that are they're common in the industry. So I'll work on that. I promise.
And Marlene, I agree with you. The video testimonials are better because I do those for my other company. Video testimonials are very good. Just be a little bit careful with those. One, you're not gonna get a lot of people that's gonna want to shoot a video, not in that space, like as a testimonial for you. But let's just say you do. Just be careful when you're doing a video like that, because when you start having a video with LegalShield's name in there and stuff like that, that might can get a little bit tangled up. So just be a little bit aware of that if you're gonna do video testimonials. But speaking to the point of video testimonials, those are definitely very helpful. The video is the best way to engage with people. So if you can show somebody a video testimonial, it really will help the sale close. So I do agree with you 100% on video testimonials being a great source for referrals and closing.
But I will say, Dunbar, I close a lot of business, and this is to everybody on the call. I close a lot of business and I do it on the phone. I don't do a whole lot of Zoom. So I have conversations with these decision makers and we talk about it. So they don't have to see me, and things like that. And I'm still making sales. So just know that. So all that's maybe a little bit over the top. I know it may help, but I'm telling you what I'm doing, and I'm putting the numbers up, and they're not seeing me. I'm talking to them. We're having conversations. So
absolutely.
So
no, that's good. That's good. That's good. We got any more great information shares, video testimonial.
I do have one more quick question.
So
I had two companies that asked me for references. And so since I'm new in the space, how can I get references of other companies that have the service?
Corporate has a form that you can send the corporate But I mean, when they ask for reference, what do they mean references? I mean, what?
They
What you
want to
mean?
know what other companies we've serviced.
Service a lot of them. That's what you say. That's what you
I
say.
have. I did. I said that.
It's a form.
Thank you.
It's a form corporate has that you can, like, if you got a company that you need to close and they're asking you for references, corporate won't send you the references, but it's a form that you can get filled out and send it to corporate. And they'll send references to that company. You'll never see the list, but they'll do that for you when that company asks for, other companies that have our program. But you will never see it. They won't tag you or anything. So you will have to get like the email address, the name of the company, the address, and maybe the telephone number. It's just an informational form for the company, and send it to corporate, and then they'll send it to that decision maker. But you won't be tagged, and you just have to have that conversation with that company to say, did my corporate office, send you the recommendations?
Thank
How,
you.
how I approach that is that I'll tell them if they ask their drivers, they're already buying a product like it on the outside at a truck stop. So why not save them some money with our program, because we go directly to the company, and then they'll find out that a lot of the drivers do already have a program that they're buying on their own.
Sure.
Yeah. And something else too, and on the sheet that Sharanda's talking about, I have done this before, and it depends on where the company is. Sometimes a LegalShield won't have other companies in that area that are willing to give the information, just so you know that does happen sometimes. In the CDLP space. In the regular group space, I've never run into that. Like, whenever I've asked for referrals for a company, LegalShield will email that decision maker a list of companies. And like Sharanda said, you don't get it. It goes directly to that decision maker, because when you put the sheet in, you put it in with their information. But in the CDLP space, I have run into situations where corporate has let me know they don't have any trucking companies in that specific area that are okay with that, because they ask their permission, and sometimes they're not okay with that. So they won't allow them to do it. And because they won't allow them to do it, they don't have any list of people. So that will happen sometimes, just so you know, if it happens, that it is something that will happen in the CDLP space. And I believe that that's because when you're talking about a specific industries could be competitive. When you're talking about regular group, you might be talking to a doctor's office, and the referrals might be offices that's not even doctor's offices, so they don't care. But when you're talking about CDLP to CDLP, some of those trucking companies don't want you telling somebody else what plan they have or why they have it, or any other information like that. So they don't want information released. So that'll be a circumstance sometimes. So so sometimes you just gotta tell them, you just got to say, hey, we service this many companies across the country, and blah, blah, blah. That they say, hey, do you have any references to the company? Say, I don't personally have any references that I can give you, but I do know that we've been around for 50 years. We service this many companies. Now, as you build your own like CDLP base, and you start to open up groups yourself in the CDLP space, you can always ask those companies, can you use them for references as well? And sometimes you can actually use the other companies that you have as references. So that's what I've done now at this point. I'll normally just use a couple of my own companies that I already have, and I'll send that information over, and then they'll know. They just want to know that that they're not a guinea pig. That's just what it is sometimes. And then sometimes it's really just people looking for a reason to push back, because that's their way of saying no. So you just got to figure out whether it's really something that's going to help close the deal, or whether they're just looking for a way to kind of put you off. So that's just sales sometimes.
And I'll say too, for who asked about the referrals, I've only had that happen with three companies, and both of those companies were over 200, and that's when I really didn't. Those companies were too big for me to be out in that space. Two of them became a client, the other one didn't. But I have never had any other client to ask that. But those companies had over 200 employees, and that question came up, and that's when I did the form. But the companies, and I didn't close them right away. One company, I went back, and it was 4 years before I closed them. And that was after 2 or 3 different safety managers. But I've never had that happen in any of my other companies that I walked into or called. But it was those 3 companies, and all 3 of those were over 200 employees. So if you're prospecting big, you may run into that more often than not.
Yeah, keep it below 30 unless you got that experience. 30 to 50. I say below 30, but some people say 30 to 50. But it depends on how much experience you got. Any more questions? Going once. Going twice. All right, fantastic. Well, we appreciate you guys for sticking with us for 90 minutes tonight. So great information, great training, John. And the Donna and Erica still on. Great interview. We appreciate the nuggets. A lot of information that can be taken away that people can use to run for their ring and really, get in the activity mode. So we thank you so much for the information and for, getting the people on this call and on this Zoom in a different place in their business. So if any of our other trainers or anything have anything to close out with, I'm going to open up for you guys.
All right. Well, those files are in your inbox, Robert. I just sent them.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys.
Appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Tonight. I'll definitely get them on Facebook tonight, but you won't get the email until tomorrow. Because if I send the email this late, unless you're on the West Coast, you're probably going to cuss me out. So, so I'll send that email tomorrow. But it will be on Facebook tonight. So thank you guys again for joining us. And you guys have a great, successful week, a safe week as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. John, success on your surgery. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, praying for you, John, on that surgery, man. Praying for you. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
And Elmer, if you're still on, Elmer, give me a call.
Sure.
Night, y'all.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.